Hi guys, my name is Bobby and today I'm going to be doing my October wrap-up. Now I've already kind of talked about this in a couple of my reading vlogs and stuff, but October fucking sucked. Worst reading month I think I've ever had. I only read 4 books and yeah, it was a really shitty reading month. I'm in a really bad slump. I've been in a slump since one of these books that I'll talk about threw me into probably one of the worst slumps I have ever had. So before I talk about the books that I actually read, I'll tell you about the 3 books that I am currently reading. Because I've started all 3 of these. I haven't finished them. Should have had plenty of time to do so. And if I would have finished them, I would have read 7 books instead of 4. But, I put them in the stack when I'm holding it for my thumbnail. So it's going to look like, oh yeah, no, these are just 3 books that I started. First off, on audio, I had started Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is book 2 in the Infernal Devices. I have read a good chunk of Cassandra Clare now in the past couple of months. I've read the first 3 in The Mortal Instruments. I have read the first in the Infernal Devices. And I started the second one in the Infernal Devices, Clockwork Prince. I got on audio to page 268. So I am well more than halfway through the book. Should have been able to easily finish it, and I have not. Cassandra Clare's books are super easy to follow on audiobook, and they're really fast reads or listens. I listen to them faster than I can read them. So, I think I'll finish out her series on audio because I can get all of them on Scribd so far. As each one as I move on, I can get on Scribd. So I think I will. Make sure there's not a glare. But I really enjoy the series. A lot of people say the Infernal Devices is their favorite series in her Shadowhunters universe. I kind of agree. I do love the Shadowhunter, or I do love the Infernal Devices. The Infernal Devices takes place in the Victorian London, and so it's a London Institute. I just like the characters better. Tessa is a really strong female protagonist and is way better than Clary from The Mortal Instruments. So I don't know, I enjoy it, and I don't know why I stopped listening. And honestly, I was only on page 50, I think. I listened to 200 pages of this in one day. That's how fast I got through it, and then I just stopped. When the next day I could have easily finished it, because there was only that much left. I could have easily finished it, and I just stopped. Slumps are killer, and it was all because of the slump. But I should finish this one, hopefully this month. There's no reason not to. I still have the audiobook. I just need to get it listened to. The next one that I started, which doesn't have an audio because it comes out this month, is Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This was my book of the month pick for last month. Yeah, for October. I kind of bitched before that October book of the month they didn't have any thrillers or horror or anything. But they did have a fantasy. Kel Cade she's written a series before, her trilogy. This is the start of a series. I don't remember the name of the series that it starts. But this is book 1 of, I think that's going to be a trilogy. This follows Aslo, who is a forester. And I kind of explained this in my vlog as well. This is a fantasy that's very short. It's not even 400 pages. It's almost 350. This is a fantasy story that plays on the Chosen One trope. So the whole point is, what happens to a world when the Chosen One dies right off the get-go? What happens to this world? Is the world just fucked? Do other people step up and try? When the prophecy fails, what happens? So that's pretty much the storyline. Aslo is the sidekick of the Chosen One. So the Chosen One has died, and he's decided, well, I'm going to try to finish out his prophecy or save my world. And he's a really cool character. I really enjoy his character. I got to page 153, so right there. I mean, I just damn near halfway through. This I had to read physically, and like I said with my slump, I have struggled to read physically. I just don't want to hold a book and read it, and I don't know why. I get distracted really easy. I don't know if my anxiety's kicking up, or I feel fine. I feel fine. I don't know why. I was really enjoying this book. I really love the world. The world building is really cool. The only thing that I was kind of the magic system isn't really built that well. It's good. It's not explained. It's not like Brent Weeks and the Prism and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, all the magic systems based on colors, or like Mistborn, where it's like, oh, you ingest metals and then you can do this and that. It's not a very well developed magic system. It's because I think it's because our main character Aslo does not have magic, and the magic is only contained to mages and magi, and that's very, very contained who has magic and who doesn't. There's also play with gods in here, like you do see some gods interact, so I mean, there's all sorts of different fun fantasy elements in this book, and I really was enjoying it. Like, it's really fun to pretty much see everybody in this world go, fuck, the hero's dead, what do we do now? Like, it's really good. I would recommend it. For how far I've gotten, I would highly recommend it. I just need to finish it. And I was just reading it, and then I just set it down. I mean, it's got everything I would want. It's got tons of forests, which I love forests, especially in fantasy. It's got reapers and, you know, stuff like that, like death reapers and stuff, which reminds me a lot of Supernatural. It has zombies. It has gods. It has, like, the Chosen One trope on its head. It's got thieves. It's got, like, everything. Everything. Here I am, sitting in my fucking slump throne and not reading it, but I really am enjoying it for as far as I've gotten. Like, if it interests you at all, like, it is a fun little fantasy so far, and, I mean, it's short. It's not like one of those big, like, 800-page fantasies that you see a lot nowadays. It's, like, how long is it? It's, yeah, 344 pages, if I could speak today. But it's really good. I highly recommend it. I just wish that I could finish it, and I really hope I do. And then after I put down Fate of the Fallen and just didn't want to pick anything up, and I didn't feel like reading Clockwork Prince, I decided to pick up another audiobook to try to knock out one of my Book of the Month books, and I made it 53 pages. And that's The Gifted School by Bruce Holsinger. So this one is also sitting on hold with audio. This is good so far. It's a literary fiction. It's about these families that live in this, like, prestigious neighborhood, and they're all friends, but they also mentally compete with each other with their children and how smart they are and what kind of schools they're being accepted to and blah, blah, blah. And granted, mind you, these kids are like 6, 7. They're young. Or, well, maybe not. Couple of them are, some of them are like middle school age, like 11, 12, like transitioning into like 6th grade, middle school age. Like my daughter's 11 and in 6th grade, so it's kind of like that transition. And so they're deciding whether to keep them in the normal elementary school or, you know, send them off to like private schools and all this stuff. I know they're supposed to be like, the gifted school is actually something that is built like in their area, and trying to decide whether or not to send their children there. I haven't gotten that far yet. Like I said, 53 pages in, you're not going to get that far. There's tons of perspectives, and from what I've read so far, sometimes the children get perspectives, which, depending on how it fits into the story, doesn't always appeal to me. Gabby said that she tried to get into it, and she had a hard time getting into it, so she put it down and wants to come back to it. So maybe that's why I just stopped listening, that I had a hard time getting back into it. And the audio is okay. The audiobook's not as good as, like, the Cassandra Clare ones. It's a little bit harder to follow, because there's so many different characters narrating, and when it jumps a lot from one narrator to the next, back and forth in the very beginning of the book, it's like, okay, who's this person though? Like, I think I heard their name mentioned once, and now we're in their perspective. So we'll see how this goes. Like, I really do want to read this. It's not one I just want to, like, oh, meh. Like, but I really want to read it. I think I'm going to go read some reviews on it to kind of help, like, pump me up. But yeah, I got 53 pages into this one. Okay, so those were the 3 books that I started, but haven't finished, or, you know, they're just kind of sitting there. Started them, don't know what's gonna happen, but I hope I can finish them this month. I just need something really bad to kick my ass into gear. Like, it's getting to the point now where my slump is so bad, it's starting to feel depressed about it, because I really want to read. I have so much stuff I want to read. I have new books coming in. I have, like, another project that I want to. There's just, you know, there's stuff I want to do, but if you can't read and you don't want to read, and your brain's just like, nope, can't concentrate, nope, I'm gonna make you fall asleep, nope, don't care. And then I'm putting down all these books that it's not necessarily the book, it's me. Like, and I don't want to DNF books that I was actively enjoying, but I just don't feel like reading. And it's really starting to stress me out, and it's really starting to upset me and make me depressed, because I look at all my books and I go, I really need to read some. I need to read that. I really want to read that. Like, I want to read that. But I go to pick one up and I read 50 pages. I'm like, I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to set a goal to read 50 pages a day for myself. That's a very attainable goal, even with my schedule and stuff. It's very attainable so that I feel better and that I am reading, and I'm hoping that something that I start and like will get me going and like hook me to where I want to read more than 50 pages or jump starts my normal reading. I read on average from like 5 to 10 books a month, and you know, or more like 6 to 10, I guess. And when you only read 4 and it was a struggle to read the 4, it's really a downer. And I shouldn't be down on myself about it, because there's some people who read only 4 books a year. And I've already read, I think, 67 books this year. So it's not really anything to get down on myself on. But like when you watch people, like in October is like my favorite month of the year. And when you watch people who have these big wrap-ups and they have like 15, 20 books in the month of October and they were all good spooky books, and I'm like, it should have been me. Because, you know, it's my favorite month of the year. And I didn't even pick, oh, I know I did read one horror. But it was just, I need help, guys. I just jumped, kicked my ass. Like, if y'all want to come in here and like sit here and like, you know, stare at me until I read, I'm fine with that. Try not to put the pressure on myself, but it's really hard not to. Okay, so the actual books that I read this month. The first one that I finished was City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. I tried to make it so you can see the cover without the glare, because I know it's really glary. Glary rhymes with Carrie. Clary. But yeah, this one didn't help. I wasn't slumping yet when I read this one. This one I think I'd read half of before the end of September. And so I wanted to finish in October, and I did. It didn't take me long to finish in October. I did not have much left at all. I think I had, like, not even 100 pages left, so it didn't take me long to finish it. I listened to this on audio. This is book 4 in the Mortal Instruments, so it's the start of the next one. So I've been reading them. I read City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass. Then I did Clockwork Angel, City of Fallen Angels, now Clockwork Prince, and then I'll read City of Lost Souls, then Clockwork Princess, and then... what is it? I can't remember the 6th one, but alternating, like trying to read them in publication order. This one was my lowest rated of the books. I think I gave this one 2 stars. It was boring. The whole book was incredibly boring. All the way up until the ending. This was very Simon-centric, and I hate Simon as a character. I cannot stand him. I haven't liked him since day 1. He's really fucking whiny. His voice is really annoying. And I don't think it helped that the narrator of this book, made Simon's voice really, oh God. Oh my God, shoot me. And this one, I think, was the one that was narrated by Ed Westwick. And Ed Westwick made Simon's voice super nasally. And, well, it fits, because I fucking hate the character. But this was all about him and him being a piece of shit and, like, cheating on his girlfriend and just being, I can't stand Simon. I can't stand him. I wish he would just go away. But it was really fucking boring all the way up until the end. And then the end pissed me off. It was really lame. I didn't like it at all. Like, just the way it was all set up. It's just like, it was another excuse to make Jace be a complete fucking asshole. So, he was an asshole for the first 3, but you still kind of felt for him, even though it was super tropey and it was super, bad boy with the troubled past. Now he's fine and he's better, but in this one you had to give him something else to make him be an asshole again, so you could have that same Clary being stupid and be like, oh, but Chase, I love you. And him to be like, well, I'm a piece of shit and I'm just going to say mean things to you all the time. Like, it's... why? Like, if you were going to do that all over again and pretty much rewrite the same trilogy you just did, just change the circumstances a bit, you probably didn't need to. But I will read them just so that I have the continuity. But, yeah, this one just was kind of like, as I was reading it, but I still love Magnus. Magnus is amazing. But, yeah, this one, like, it didn't throw me into the slump, but I was kind of like, bitch. And then the next book I read was probably one of the only really enjoyable books that I read the entire month, and it was a buddy read with Vicky at chapter 32, and that was The Troop by Nick Cutter. This is a horror. It is a disgusting as fucking hell horror. They were not lying when they said this was gross. So this tells the story of a Boy Scout troop who is going on like a weekend camp thing to get some badges and merit merit badges and all that stuff and earn them. And it's on this little private secluded island off of Prince Edward Island in Canada. And they go there with their scoutmaster. So it's 5 boys and their scoutmaster. And these 5 boys have been together for a really long time. Their scoutmaster they've had for a really long time. So they all kind of have this really close bond. And on the first night of them being on the island, a boat comes to shore with this man who looks like he's a Holocaust victim. He's so incredibly skinny and emaciated, and he says that he's hungry. And the story kind of goes from there. It is full of body horror. It is very gross. Body horror doesn't bother me, but, you know, I don't mind the blood and the guts or somebody's face getting blown off, or, like, that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Like, I've even, like, I love the Hannibal Lecter series, like, and he's a fucking cannibal. Doesn't bother me. This made me kind of go, ugh, because it's a body invasion with tapeworms, like a very highly intelligent, highly mutated tapeworm. And that skeezes me out on every level possible. I don't like the thought of bugs, worms, anything entering my body or a body of any kind. Like, it really skeeves me out bad. I know Vicky also felt the same. We're just like, ugh, gross. But we both got through it. We both enjoyed it a lot. But it was really interesting because I knew that it had something to do that was really gross. And I'd heard Natasha at My Reading is Odd say that it was a body invasion. But you get bits and pieces. So you get what's happening on the island, but then you get stuff from the past, like, and stuff that's like newspaper articles and interviews and stuff like that from the aftermath after they got off the island. And you kind of slowly, as the story goes, you figure out where this parasite came from and what its intended purpose was and how it ended up on this island with these boys. It's pretty good. It touches on a lot of things. I mean, it touches not just pack mentality, peer pressure, on top of all the gross horror. There's a little bit about a psychopath in here. Major trigger warnings for body horror and animal abuse. I mean, the animal abuse, while it is really hard to read, it was an abuse that they were intending to try to kill the animal for food, and it ended up not working out. So, major trigger warning for that if you struggle with that kind of thing. Pretty much, if you read this book and you get to a part where 2 of the boys find a turtle, skip ahead to the next chapter. Yeah, but it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. Vicky and I both really enjoyed it. And like she said, I don't think I'll be reading any other Nick Cutter. I mean, I've heard not so good things about The Deep. I've heard this is his best one, and I agree. I really enjoyed this book. It was really fun to see, like, do the guessing, like, who's gonna make it to the end. That was kind of like the fun part. And that's fun in any horror for me, trying to figure out who's gonna survive, unless it's a really obvious, like, you only have one female main character or male character, and you know that they're definitely going to make it to the end. When it's a huge group setting, kind of like, you know, you watch the movie Scream, who's going to survive to the end? It's kind of like that. That feeling, I like that feeling. Who's going to make it? Who's going to be the lone survivor? Or is there going to be 2 that survive? Is it going to be 1? That kind of thing. And it's pretty creepy and really, really, really gross. So, just trigger warnings for everything. Yeah, everything, and just watch out for the animal abuse if you decide to pick it up. Okay, on audiobook, I read, I'll put the picture here, I think it's American Murder Houses. I already talked about this in the vlog, I rated it 3 stars. This is a really, it's not really short, it's maybe 200 something pages, but a pretty short audiobook if you listen on, I listen on 1.5 speed, about all these different houses in America where murders have taken place and that are really famous. What I really enjoyed about this book is that it starts out each chapter giving you the address, what kind of house it is, like, is it like a Southwestern style house, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, does it have a full car garage, like that kind of thing. It gives you all like the stats on the house, the year, the city and state where it resides, and what happened in the house, or the year that whatever the bad thing happened. Then it tells you the story of what happened, and then at the end, it'll tell you if anything's been embellished in books or movies or whatever. And like the Amityville Horror is one of the main ones where it was just like, this was super embellished. What actually made the house haunted or the murders that took place has nothing to do with the book or the movie. But then also at the very end, it'll tell you whether or not it's privately owned or if it's like publicly owned where you can actually visit, that kind of thing. So it makes it really interesting if you wanted to do like a haunted house tour of the United States. It'd be kind of a fun place to start. Granted, most of them are privately owned. I think there's only a very small handful that are open. And the main one that sticks out that's open is like the Lizzie Borden house, which is a bed and breakfast now. But it was a fun, easy, like true crime-ish, you know, audiobook to listen to. And again, I gave it 3 stars. And the last book I read, and the book that has started and made me in this horrible slump, is The Trash Prince by Holly Black. And this is a piece of fucking steaming hot garbage, and I absolutely hate it. And I did the reading vlog. If you've watched it, you know. I rated this. I didn't rate this, but I think I'm going to go and rate it 1 star because I'm so angry about the slump it put me in. But yeah, this is a horrifically abusive relationship that everybody fucking ships, and I do not understand it. And I think it's absolute trash. This was one of my booktube darlings, and it was an obvious fail. And I do not fucking understand the hype around this book. I think everybody should be ranting about how terrible and toxic the relationship is between Jude and Carden, and that it is not healthy in any way, shape, or form. And I don't understand why people go on and on about how they want them to be together. I'm sorry, but if you and your friends pin me down and almost choke me to death and then make me eat something which is pretty much like roofying me, that makes me do everything to bend to your will, including strip down to my bra and underwear so you can publicly humiliate me. And to me, that's a form of rape, and I'm sorry, I can't stand it. If I almost don't want to donate it, I almost want to throw it in the trash because I don't think anybody should have to read that kind of hot garbage. It was absolutely terrible, and it's what's thrown me into like one of the worst slumps I have ever had in my life. And nope, Cruel Prince is trash. I'm sorry. I know I'm not a popular opinion, but I still do not understand. I think I only made it 150 pages through before I DNF'd. And after the horrible abuse and bullying that I read, there's absolutely nothing that he could have done to bring it back to justify it. Sorry, I don't want a justification for abusive behavior, and I don't care if he's fey. I don't give a fuck. You have a choice, and you chose to be an absolute nasty prick and to be absolutely abusive and terrible, and I do not understand why people ship them together. My big 1,000,000% unpopular opinion right there, folks. You're welcome. But yeah, that's it. That is my wrap-up. My whole 4 books and 3 that I started and haven't finished and didn't get very far. I'm really hoping that this month is better, but I also said that at the end of September, and here we are. Yeah, I was already starting to slump into September, and the Cruel Prince really, really helped that out. So yeah, I am trying. I did look and see that if you watched my November TBR that my daughter picked, every single book there is an audiobook for, except for Kill Creek and The Devil of Nanking. But the other ones there are audiobooks for on Scribd, so I'm hoping that'll help me get through. Though part of me doesn't really want to listen to A Darker Shade of Magic because it's my booktube darling. I kind of want to read it physically. But we'll see, because that one is probably the one I'm the most excited about to read this month. But yeah, that's it. Please let me know in the comments down below what you read in October. If you have any opinions on the 4 books that I read. And here's hoping that next month is better. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.